Here inside of Wikipedia, um, related to the First Amendment auditors. We're going to talk about them for a little bit because I never knew what that was before. The First Amendment auditors. And now there's actually, you're under arrest and we're seizing your cameras. You can't film from a public sidewalk. That's nonsense for people to actually say that, and it has you wondering the fraud that has taken place within the First Amendment community, because the article that I'm reading here, which is in Wikipedia, it's actually stating that a lot of online revenue has been generated from the frauditors, the First Amendment frauditors. That's what I'm going to call it, because in here it says that they've been asking for money and advertising revenue and donations, the First Amendment frauditors. So it sounds like it's more of an activism group than anything. Um, so it says auditors believe that the movement promotes transparency and open government, while critics have argued that audits are typically confrontational, criticizing some tactics as forms of intimidation and harassment. Yeah, and that's the funny thing, is that I had no idea what an audit was, because of the fact that when I used the word audit, it was just for the purposes of search engine optimization. Because with me, I don't like confrontation. And so, but then it goes on to say many opponents of the tactics and legal theories of the auditors refer to the auditors as frauditors. So, First Amendment frauditors, I think that's a good word for them. The practice is predominantly an American concept, since the First Amendment is part of the United States law, but it also has been seen in other countries, including Australia, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Russia. Um, and so several self-styled auditors typically travel to places considered public property, such as sidewalks or public rights of way, or places. I really wished I'd have read this at the beginning. Had I read this, I would have never used the word audit ever in a video in the past. So had I known it was a confrontational, hello, Jackson Byers. So had I known that the First Amendment frauditors was a movement that was like this, I would have never used the word in my search engine optimization ever. And so the First Amendment audit is more of a fraudit. It's a fraud. So, okay, and that's what I'm seeing now. The censorship people, they come in and leave a comment and then retract the message. So it's like, why even bother? Why are you guys even bothering? Because you seem like more the scammers and fraud people. Um, so you're part of something else that I don't know what you're doing. And um, yeah, because I noticed that a whole slew of comments again, that someone, they actually put on false airs related to um, being a friend somewhat on YouTube. I think you're boring, Slater. I think you're boring. You guys are just being antagonistic. Isn't that what you're trying to do, is cause drama? And so I'm talking about the First Amendment frauditors right now. And so the networks, this is what's happening. I'll tell you right now. There's a bunch of people I can tell on YouTube. They are pissed off about something. I'm not sure what it is. They're pissed off about something. And that's what I've been hearing. There's a few men. I'm not going to say it's a lot of men, because the ones who are not involved with the internet probably don't care. And so, being involved in the internet, things seem more dramatic than what they really are. That's the truth. When you're in the middle of something and money's involved, that always gets people pissed off. I think you're boring, Slater. Whatever it is you are, you're boring. And so they just want to take down and tear down the self-esteem of someone else, because they've got something else going on. And and so it's like whatever it is they're doing, it really is happening. So it's like um so I don't know why they want to tear down, and that's all they're doing. If it's the government doing it, it's a horrible movement. It's the same thing like with the First Amendment audit thing that I was reading here. So apparently their citizen activism, and they're supposed to be journalists. And so I'd never heard of it before. I'd never heard of them before. But they're frauditors. The First Amendment movement is a fraud. So how is it that you can say you're under arrest, we're seizing your cameras? Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense at all? I don't think you guys get anything. Roman Garcia. Hello, Roman Garcia. Um, and so what another thing what this says is that the auditors will travel to places they call a public property, sidewalks, libraries, and then they want to create confrontations with the police officers and with the people in the buildings. And they're basically, what they're doing is they're gaslighting. Now, I'm going to tell you something related to the First Amendment audit. I had police officers actually come by my house related to the First Amendment audit when I did them. I was just using the word in my search engine optimization. I didn't even know what an audit was. I didn't even know that a First Amendment audit was a thing, and that people were doing it for, that's the only reason they'd be doing it, is for search engine optimization. And they actually let me record them without any problems. They let me record them. The police. I asked him permission too. I said, my camera's running," and he was kind of like, "That's all right." That's what he told me. That's what the police officer told me. He said, "That's all right." So the First Amendment auditors, which I believe now they are frauditors, are part of the antagonistic movement. Because when I scroll down here in the article in Wikipedia, what it says here is that online videos of audits can also generate income for the auditors through advertising revenue and donations. Now think about that. That's what it says. Government response. Auditors have been detained, arrested, assaulted, had camera equipment confiscated, weapons aimed at them, their homes raided by SWAT teams, and have been shot at while recording in public places. Now, let me ask you this, though. Is it other fraud people who are part of something else, who put on costumes and then went in and they were a fraud related to what they did, and it wasn't real police officers? So it says such events have prompted police officials to release information on the proper methods of handling such an activity. For example, a document sponsored by the International Association of Chiefs of Police states that the use of recording devices alone is not grounds for arrest unless other laws are violated. So I would have to say, I wonder what the other laws would be that would be violated related to, I'd have to wonder that. Auditors believe that the movement promotes transparency and open government. I think it sounds like that the First Amendment frauditors actually is more of a bully movement. They argue that auditing raises awareness of police misconduct and pressures government agencies to train their employees to respect First Amendment rights. I don't believe that anymore. I mean, the thing is, it's like, what are the First Amendment auditors doing on YouTube? Let me ask that. What are they doing? There's not a goddamn thing they can do. There's not a goddamn thing they can do on YouTube related to their First Amendment audits. Not a goddamn thing. I'll tell you that right now. They're nothing but a fraud. Auditing has been controversial due to the tactics auditors have used in an attempt to elicit potential reactions from police officers and private citizens alike. Now, me, myself, I was just using the word audit because of the fact it looked to me like it was popular. And so I had no idea it had anything to do with police. That's how stupid I was related to the movement of the First Amendment. And so it's, for me right now, it's kind of fun to look back at. Well, I don't know that the word is fun. I mean, fun hasn't been a very good word for me the past 4, 5, 6 to 8 years. But what I will say is it's kind of enlightening to look back at the words that I've used in videos, which I have a right to use the words. I should have a right to use the word audit. But these other people are part of, they're part of nothing but an antagonistic movement. That's all they're part of. That's just my opinion. Critics argue that the audits are often confrontational in nature as auditors refuse to self-identify or express their activities. Some auditors yell insults, derogatory language, and vulgarities at the police who attempt to stop them from recording and insist on identification. Now, I never did anything like that. I always gave the police officer my identification. I didn't think it was a big deal because I didn't want to get into a confrontation with the police officers. So some auditors have also been known to enter public buildings asserting that they have legal right to openly carry. Oh, that's not even something I want to be involved with there. They have a right to open carry. That's how stupid they get. As a right covered by the Second Amendment, not the First, leading to the, but we have a very well-regulated media under the First Amendment, though. Someone else had said that, and I kind of forgot that I'd used that phrase before. We do. We have a very well-regulated media under the First Amendment related to censorship on YouTube. Good luck, First Amendment auditors. What are you going to do about it on YouTube? Because nobody has to listen to you now. All we have to do is censor you. I mean, it's like, do you see how this snowball effect works? So if your intention is just to be shitty to people, I mean, and that's what I see. There's still quite a few of them doing that. So they pick people out and think, oh, look, here's this bitch. Basically that's what it amounts to, because they want to be shitty to someone. They can't get laid. That's the problem. They can't get laid, so they're pissed off at women. They can't get laid, so they're pissed off at women. And that's what I'm hearing with a lot of these men right now that unfortunately I've been coming across on the internet. Before, I was coming across them in real life, which I still do from time to time. And but more so on the internet right now, and they're venting. I thought, well, maybe the venting is good, because in the past they wouldn't talk about anything. They wouldn't talk to their wife so they didn't have rage build up. Because I was thinking that if they would have talked to their wife, maybe their marriage would have worked out instead of them being shitty to their wife. So let's see, what else does this say? The Second Amendment, not the First, leading to accusations that auditors are engaged in intimidation. I believe that. Harassment and domestic terrorism. I've actually seen enough First Amendment auditing videos, and even the Second Amendment ones. They're mean. I will say that. They're just plain mean. While not all are members of the sovereign citizen movement, a number are either members or express certain philosophies shared by these anarchic-oriented groups. So critics have also noted that many auditors profit from videos they publish on YouTube and other platforms, according to the report of the Daily Beast. The growing popularity of auditing videos online has led to ruthless competition between auditors, while incentives more dramatic, confrontational, and abusive videos. I don't want to be a part of that. I'm not interested. Um, so I've talked about things. Now, actually, and that's the funny thing, it's like some of these people on YouTube, I think, are presenting themselves as attorneys, and I'm wondering if they're stolen valor. Why would military people be involved with this? That's what I'm wondering, because usually military people aren't, once they get out of the military, they're really not interested in being confrontational, I didn't think. Just going out and causing trouble in society. So I think some of these people are more of like Hollywood stuff or something different. People who never, men who never participated with the military or police or something like that. They never did anything productive with their life. And so now they're on the internet and they have a few thousand views and they just think that they want to bully people in society, that they're doing some cause of something and helping out society. Kind of like the scammers. When really the scammers make things worse, and the First Amendment and Second Amendment auditors actually make things worse too. That's just my opinion. They really do. They cause a lot of antagonism because all these movements are just kind of tied in together. Um, you know, because I still can't figure out what purpose going into a police station with a camera does if you're just going in there to interrupt the police, and um, you're just going in there to interrupt the police. Because everybody has a cell phone. Now, I've been in government buildings before where they have told everybody to put their phones away. And they've done that at voting stations. I don't have a problem doing that if I'm going to go vote. Oh, you agree with me? Wait, thank you. At least one person agrees with me. You don't have to agree with me if you really don't, but it's nice to find at least one person who agrees with me, because I think it's, to me it kind of ties in with BLM and Antifa and rioting and protesting and just being ugly and being mean. And what does this say? Public recording. The legality of recording in public first was clearly established in the United States jurisdiction following the case of Gilk versus Cuniff in the First Circuit, which confirmed that restricting a person's right to film in public would violate their First and the Fourth Amendment. I didn't know that. And to violate their Fourth Amendment right. Through the Supreme Court has yet to affirm a right to record government employees. It has stated that there is a paramount public interest in a free flow of information to the people concerning public officials. Now, what I would question, I would go as far as to even question, hello, Owen. I would go as far as to even question, if you're on YouTube, we have this thing, if a person is readily identifiable, you don't put them in a video. It's one of those things in the spirit of the law. If it's someone that you know and they're readily identifiable, you recorded them out in public, don't put them in the video unless you have their permission to do it. And I would say the same thing with police, because police officers are in more of a sticky situation. And I was just thinking that, a lot of times they might have to go testify in court or something like that. I don't want to go blasting a police officer's picture all across the internet that would put them in jeopardy for some case or something. Not that it would, I'm just speculating here. What the thing is, I don't have any intentions of being malicious related to a police officer and just wanting to say malicious things or lie about something that never happened. Um, what does this say? Oh, when I just saw you in a different live. Don't be weird, please. Oh, weird is kind of like the thing that came up about JD Vance earlier today in the YouTube popularity on the pages. And but I just didn't realize that the, oh, here's another one. While the U.S. Supreme Court has yet to decide on a case regarding a right to film government officials engaged in public duties, several of the U.S. courts of appeals have ruled that the recordings of public officials, including the police, is protected under the First Amendment. So they're saying that you can record them. Because I was just thinking, legacy media has always, legacy media has always recorded the police out in public. They're police chasers. They chase them. They get stock footage of the police. I'm sure they have loads and loads and loads of stock footage. If there was ever a stock footage company that went out of business, and let's say I was an internet company like Google or something like that, I would buy it if it went really really cheap. I would buy it and include some of it in something like the I don't know if they would need it or not, because they have AI, the AI stuff that makes, I mean, the AI stuff generating is no different than stock footage that Hollywood uses. And Hollywood uses all that stock footage for various reasons. This says in 2017, Judge Jacques Wiener of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit wrote a federal appeals decision in favor of an auditor who was detained for filming police officers. Filming the police contributes to the public's ability to hold the police accountable, ensure that the police officers are not abusing their power, and make informed decisions about police policy. Now, the thing what I had done in the past, I stood, when the police would pull someone over or there would be some incident of some sort, I would be in a parking lot and recording it from a distance. If I felt like I needed to use police. Right now, I've got AI. If I need a police something or another, I can just use YouTube's AI to do it. Um, and that's actually, if the First Amendment auditors were gonna do anything, I would think they would challenge. Right now, the auditors are saying they hate AI. I would think they would challenge it for the First Amendment and say, well, why is AI all of a sudden not, why are you not going to be able to monetize AI? Can you join? I don't have a link. Otherwise, I didn't come on. Let me see here. If I don't think, I don't have, I didn't create a, I didn't create a link when what I could do is end the stream. If you want to come back on, I could end the stream and then you can come back on if you want to join. Nathaniel. But I didn't create it so that I had a link for anyone to come on. The one time that I did it, I got this really weird screen that it didn't make any sense to me related to the screen. Maybe I'll try that again in the future. And see. But I was just thinking, so there's been quite a few people saying they hate AI. Are the First Amendment auditors going to challenge AI and revenue sharing related to the First Amendment? Because I was just thinking, these two came up together, the First Amendment auditing and AI. And so I was getting this notice, and someone or YouTube was saying something, or people are saying that YouTube is not monetizing artificial intelligence anymore. And I was just thinking, well, I'm not artificial intelligence. Someone told me that today. They said that YouTube's not monetizing. And it's like, okay, I'm not monetized and I'm not artificial intelligence. It's like what we do on YouTube is no different than what legacy media did related to how they created their content. So when they go into stock footage to pull something up to stick in their video. Basically, that's spam. It's nothing more than spam. If you want to look at it like that, because they're using footage that they have already recorded, or that, and they're putting it in the news. And so a lot of times they can just be using the same footage over and over again. And so, let me end this, and then I'll come back on. And Jathaniel, if you want to join, I'll see if I can get it to work. So I'm going to end this and then see if I can get it to work. See if I can make a link.